Need a dozer on the job? Well, they've got them up to 105 horsepower, and that's a good-sized machine. Plus, Valley Equipment has more lifts than anyone around. Up to 80-foot booms that reach 56 feet with a 10,000-pound capacity. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Check them out today.
You've been paying on that life insurance policy for years, but maybe you don't really need it anymore, or it's gotten a bit too expensive. Well, before you just let it expire, let Neighbors Insurance Solutions share with you some alternatives that you haven't considered. Don't throw away something that still may have great value for you. If you want to learn more about what Neighbors Insurance Solutions can do for you, call 256-763-7693. A death benefit could be a life benefit. Learn more at 256-763-7693.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. And with our Workhorse Special promotion, that new 255 CTL is just $73,655, but it's only good through December 31st. Prices increase in January, so lock in your savings now and take advantage of year-end tax benefits to maximize your investment. Don't wait. The best time to buy that new Cat 255 is today. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. Weekday morning starting at 9 a.m. on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Oh, beautiful. Take me out of program 2. Thank you. All right. Beautiful A.E. Wood Coliseum here on the campus of Mississippi College. Thank you very much, John Abraham. It is nice to be back on the air. Big thank you to Drew DeArmond for filling in yesterday. We've got UH Charger men's basketball coming up later on this evening. And we will hear from head coach Nick Saban, who had a thing or two to say about these playoff systems earlier today on the Pat McAfee program. But this is our final show of the week, so we're going to open it up to more of your phone calls in a pick-two style, if you will, at 256-576-4977. And let's talk to Wes Neighbors right now. How are you, Wes?
Doing great, Steve. Doing good.
All right, let's dive into it. Tell me what you think. Alabama, Oklahoma. We're about to see it tomorrow night.
Yeah, so the line moved today. I don't know if everybody knows that. The line went from where Alabama was 1.5-point favorite to Oklahoma's 1.5-point favorite. You know, to me, Alabama has not played the same since the first Oklahoma game. And it's like they showed the matrix of how to attack Alabama.
Yeah.
And I just don't think they're going to be able to go to Oklahoma at night and pull off the victory in the playoff game. I think it's a close game, and I think Alabama, again, I don't think Alabama's going to win this game. I'll be pulling like hell for them, and I hope they do. But they have to go back to where they were playing before the Oklahoma game, and if they can do that, and they can protect the quarterback, and he can throw on time, then I do think Alabama can win. But it's just having the leadership, losing on defense, LT Overton. That's a huge thing, too, that nobody's talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, not enough people. That is a huge thing. That guy has played incredible all year. He's been in the first game, he was in the backfield the whole game. So that helps Oklahoma. I just think that there's a 15% chance when you go to an SEC school at night to win the game, and it's hard to do. If Alabama was playing like they were at the and could find that form, they could. I think Alabama could go on a run and have a chance to win it all if they could play like they were playing in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
That being said, going on the road to Oklahoma, at night, it's a tough deal to do.
Let's see if Coach Saban can convince you otherwise. This is a couple of the little bits of the breakdown that Pat McAfee and Nick Saban went into specifically with the Alabama-Oklahoma matchup.
Ty Simpson has 5 turnovers or 5 interceptions on the season. 4 of them come in the final 4 weeks. That 3-week layoff, is there a way to fix that? Or is that just something that's going to come with games down the stretch whenever you're trying to take a shot?
Well, I really do think that some of the issues that have been created on Alabama's offense come from, the fact that there's more pressure, more sacks. They've been able to affect the quarterback, which led to the 4 interceptions that you're talking about. But Ty's very capable, but I've always said this, quarterback's a hard position to play, maybe the hardest position in sports, if the people around you don't play well. So their ability to run the ball, their ability to protect, pick up pressures, the offensive line needs to play a little more consistently. That'll help the quarterback. And if they can do that, I think Ty's very capable of, getting back to where he was somewhere in the middle of the season when he was playing outstanding.
Any of that?
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I believe it.
I mean, I hadn't listened to that either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the truth. I mean, I kept waiting. If Alabama has their starting offensive line that they actually started against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Because in that game, what they did is take advantage of the backs and how they were picking it up. And it's mostly the backs missing the protection in that game. There were a couple of pressures, but if you go back and look at the play Ty Simpson made against Georgia on 4th down, where it's incredible. He has a lot of talent if they can protect him and just keep it from not being in his face. Allow him to step up, allow him to get outside, allow him, maybe they move the pocket. The thing Alabama has going for them in this game is, and that's why it's so hard to beat a good team twice, is normally people are gonna do what the team that won is going to do a lot of the similar things, because why wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm.
But the team that lost is going to change what they do, obviously.
Yeah.
So, it wouldn't be surprising to me if Oklahoma's offense has a little bit more, does a little bit more against us, and we do better and not turn the ball over as much against Oklahoma. The thing that bothers me the most, Steve, and I've said this for weeks, is Alabama special teams. I mean, every game they make huge errors in the special teams. You go back to the Auburn. Auburn had some good kickoff returns.
Yeah.
Auburn. We get a penalty on a punt, 15-yard penalty for roughing the the return guy.
Yeah.
We get, of course, the block punt against Georgia turned that game to where it was kind of a standstill that gave Georgia the upper hand, followed by a turnover. That we followed the next possession, we throw a interception. And so, all that stuff, if they can correct it and get some midseason form, yeah, if they've been able to do that. But then you take away guys like LT Overton and the pressures that nobody sees. I mean, against Oklahoma, he didn't get the sack, but he got 2 or 3 pressures, got the quarterback feeling uncomfortable. Who's going to pick up the slack there? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and then all of a sudden you can help take 2 people and block 42. So, I mean, the pass rusher. So, Pierre. So, you look at all that and it changes the game totally. And that's what I'm worried about. I mean, you just look at the line, you look at what's going on, how it changed. That's usually a bad sign. And, anyway, yeah, somebody's trying to talk to me too.
Feelings mutual. Feelings mutual.
Anyway, so there is it's. I hope I'm wrong. That's all I know.
All right, I'll give you one more soundbite from Nick to see whether or not he can convince you one more time on the Alabama-Oklahoma matchup.
I think, the pressure package that they have, and I think that was the big difference in the first game. When you watch the game, when they got their pressures blocked up, they made a lot of explosive plays. I'm talking about Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
But when they didn't, it was devastating in terms of sack fumbles, pick sixes, sacks that led to stop and drives. So it was like feast or famine, in the game. So how they can execute against the pressures, to me, is the most important thing, because if you can get to the back end of Oklahoma's defense, I think you got a chance to make plays, which was evident in the first game. I mean, Alabama had over 400 yards versus Oklahoma's 200, but 3 turnovers, all in negative field position, that led to 17 points, helped Oklahoma tremendously in the game. And
that is Nick Saban from earlier today during the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah, and that's their feast or famine. There's no doubt about that. But that's, they kept us out of the end zone on a lot of those when we got down there. The missed field goal being one of them is if you don't score on those big plays, it's hard to score on Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But and basically, me, Coach Saban, again, are saying the same thing. He just does it more eloquently. There's no doubt. So,
all right. So I did ask Kalen DeBoer yesterday in his final media availability. I was on the bus on the way down here, and so I did ask him at least one of the questions that I told you if I could ask him 2 questions. Well, I asked him what I thought was the most pertinent one.
Coach, since the last time we saw you, how much healthier do you think your team is heading into this playoff game, Coach?
Yeah, I think it's when each guy can be a little healthier. We'll have a few guys back as well. I think that makes a difference. It makes a difference, especially in how you practice. And so got to go out there, still do it on Saturdays and when Fridays, I guess, this week. But, we got a great opponent across from us too that, has a say in that. But I like the temperament. I like the way we're able to go out there and practice with a good tempo and, have a little more depth to us too. So you can get more reps, whether it's 1s or 2s, but, every guy is just a little more healthier. I mean, you're going to naturally be that with a week off. And we got that before we had to get back to really work here over the last 8 days or so, getting ready for Oklahoma.
Does that make you feel any better, Wes?
I don't think those guys are. I don't think Cuevas or Jam are 100%. The key to this game is going to be picking up the blitz, like Coach Saban said.
Yeah.
And then is to stop them from having. They have some pretty really good guys and LT Overton along with everybody else, but having to not being able to double team those guys when LT Overton is by Pierre is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Right? Yangzi Pierre. So now you be able to help out a little bit more because, with the guy not quite as good, you can do different things. So, the next man up. That's the way you got to take this, right? Next man up. But in the same token, it's a different deal when you're going to Oklahoma playing them at night in a playoff game, and if Alabama's special teams were a lot better, not a little better, a lot better, then it make me feel better too.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the Vegas is put where I would have put the line in the first place, and I just don't like they got the best field goal kicker in the country, and we don't. That's all I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
And their punter's one of the best in the country, and ours isn't. And it makes a big damn difference when you're playing a tight game.
So that point spread's really bothering you. I can hear it in your voice.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. Anytime a point spread moves 3 points in one direction, it's usually not very good. But it kind of confirms what I've been thinking the whole time. So, kind of confirms that. Those are the things I've been worried about the whole time. I was hoping that Alabama could pull off a miracle and beat Georgia, and make it in the top 4, get a time to recover.
Yeah.
I think Alabama definitely deserved to be in the playoffs with the schedule they play, the teams they beat, and doing the things they did. But in the end, the SEC's just tore Alabama up. They have so many people out. So many people are going to be playing hurt in this game. Not a little hurt, a lot hurt.
Yeah.
And the only reason they're playing is because it's a playoff game. Right?
I would say Cuevas is at the top of that list.
I would too. Yeah, and I just hope they're able to make it, through the whole game and not get hurt again. And there won't be anybody yelling louder for them than me. But at the same token, I'm trying to just be a realist about this. And there are too many things I don't like about this team that we skated through the year. And on the back of Ty and the things he did and how improved the defense has become.
Yeah.
But you got to look, against there were 6 or 7 starters out against Georgia at the end of the game.
That's right.
For the first of the year.
Yeah.
So hopefully a lot of those guys are going to be back, and hopefully they'll be 100%. But the 2 on offense, I think, are the reasons I'm worried. Because if you pick up the blitz for Ty Simpson, he'll make you play. Hey. So they got to pick it up.
The biggest reaction of Nick being on Pat McAfee came off of this quote. This is in regards to James Madison and Tulane. I don't know if you've seen this quote, but it's circling all the social media rounds really all afternoon. Here's what Coach Saban said about 2 group of 5 teams making the CFP.
Would we allow the winner of the AAA Baseball League, the International League, whatever they call it, I don't even know the name of it, would you let them in the World Series playoffs?
I don't think they do. No, I don't think.
No, they don't. But I'm saying, but that's the equivalent of what we do when JMU gets in to the college football playoff and Notre Dame doesn't. I mean, I don't want to start any, but it is what it is.
That comment is making the rounds right now, Wes.
Well, I mean, I said the same thing since it happened, before it happened. It's a travesty. It's a travesty. Happy for JMU, this or that. But at what cost? Right?
Yeah.
At what cost? Is it the right thing to do? Well, hell no. That's just common sense. No, it isn't. And who would I said something? They said, well, they were going to get sued. Who cares?
Yeah, it was
for what?
That's what Ivan told us. Ivan Maisel. Yeah.
I mean, who cares? I mean, for what? Because you got a 12-team playoff. If JMU is one of the top teams in the nation, you don't have to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? If they're the 12 team, I'm all for it. Great for JMU. And listen, JMU would have a chance. But I don't even think a group of 5 schools should be considered unless they're undefeated.
Not a whole lot of disagreement. Pardon me. Not a whole lot of disagreement right here in that regard to me, Wes. It is getting a significant backlash. People who really not know what they're talking about. They'll immediately bring up, well, was Utah not ready for Alabama in the Sugar Bowl, or just stuff that is not even playoff related, is the kinds of comments that I'm reading on social media.
Alabama didn't make the playoffs that year.
No, it was a different team.
Oh, yeah. That's just, well, I think Utah was undefeated too, weren't they? Or had one loss.
Yeah.
And played a schedule that was a lot better than JMU.
Yeah.
JMU schedules not in the top 100.
Yeah.
And listen, Texas Tech's a good team.
Yeah.
They're not a great team. They haven't their schedule strength in the 70s. And guess what? They lost to Arizona State. Mississippi State, who didn't win a conference game, I think that's right.
Yeah, no, they won a conference game this year
against Arkansas. Who did they beat?
Yeah, Arkansas. Yeah.
So they won one conference game, beat Arizona State.
They took Tennessee to overtime.
Yeah, they took Texas to overtime too.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So probably one of the reasons Texas didn't get in. So, but is those 2 overtime victories against Kentucky and Mississippi State. So, I mean, to me, I've always thought of overtime wins aren't as good and overtime losses aren't as bad.
Yeah.
And it used to be the BCS, that was the truth. That's right. The way they viewed it.
That's right.
If you remember, LSU won the national championship with 2 overtime losses.
That's right. Kentucky and
I think it was Arkansas.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember.
Yeah. So, but I kind of agree with that, for whatever reason.
Yeah, BCS formula. I've never had a problem with that. I
think they got it right every time, and so far. What this is this was a way to keep the SEC from dominating like they were, and they came up with this kind of woke plan where lesser teams could get in from different divisions, and so we all could feel good about each other. And it's just the stupidest thing ever. And poor Notre Dame and poor Vanderbilt is at home. And they both should be in the playoffs.
Vanderbilt's strength of schedule ended up at 23rd. Texas' strength of schedule is at 68. Texas's strength of schedule is at 12. I was looking for another big number that is in there. Ole Miss is at 39. Is there any chance Tulane can pull off the upset?
Well, I think they got a lot of better chance than any of the others. A lot of people in different positions at Ole Miss. But, with the offensive coordinator there, same offensive coordinator, that helps. So we'll see. I give them a better shot than JMU. I think that like Coach Saban said, AAA, JMU struggled against Louisiana Lafayette with their third string quarterback. So I watched the game. They have no business playing in the college football playoff.
I was looking for all the here in the state of Mississippi, which I'm currently in. I was looking for all the thank you Coach Kiffin billboards And I've yet to see a single one here in the state of Mississippi.
Well, I have. Do they have those?
No.
They don't have them at Austin.
No.
The ones I've seen.
No. There is. In fact, saying the name inside the state right now, you get a couple of looks. Even
well, you know what's interesting to me is he's the only person I've known that can piss off every fan base almost in the Southeastern Conference
to perfection. I mean,
yeah. A lot of people argue he cost Alabama a national championship.
Well, do you? I mean,
I thought at the time, yeah. So yeah, I did.
All right, so the 1.5 spread towards Oklahoma has sealed it. West believes Oklahoma is going to down Alabama.
Yeah, I'll be, if we can get by Oklahoma though, and really get healthy. Healthy. See, I think we match up very well against Indiana, and I'll tell you why. I know the safety there at Indiana. He can't play man-to-man defense. They play zone. They're a zone team. And Ty Simpsons eat up zone teams. So I think Alabama matches up very well against Indiana. Very, very well.
But does not match up very well against
and Oklahoma has the best defense in the country, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If not, they're one of the best. And they're the ones that showed Georgia, showed Auburn, showed everything since we played Oklahoma how to attack Alabama. And they're attacking how they count on the and get the back on the rusher. And they're bringing the rusher. He's coming 100 miles an hour. And if Alabama could figure out a way to take advantage on that on the run, because they did it no matter what we were doing. And we don't run. We're a zone offense. If we could run a backside trap on a counter, and pick those guys up, he'll hit his head on the goalpost in the end zone. That'll be the first thing he touches.
Well, I am at least reading about some high wind reports that it could gust up to 45 miles an hour tomorrow night.
Well, that's not good for us either.
I didn't think so either. I didn't think so either. But there'll be sustained winds in the 20s, but could be as high as 45.
Well, we know why everybody who lives in Oklahoma, and that's because their horse died on the way to Texas.
That's right. That's exactly right. All right, Wes. Thank you very much.
All right.
We'll talk
roll
Monday.
tide.
We'll talk Monday. I'll give you a roll tide as well, just because the dogs are sitting at home and, getting ready for getting ready for the Ole Miss Tulane winner.
Yeah.
All right, Wes. We'll talk to you on Monday.
See you later. Bye.
If you'd like to be a part of the program, you can certainly do so on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline at 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. What else can I let you know about? Oh, coming up in hour number 2. By the way, the basketball background is not artificial. That's the UAH women's team and the Mississippi College women's team getting ready to tip it up here in about 5 minutes' time. But coming up at the top of the hour, we will talk with Trevor. I'll talk with Trevor Matich. And, John, just because I'm feeling sporty, John Abraham is filling in for Brian Temple here this evening, who's away on assignment, and would love to get your input here over the next hour and a half as well. Also, a conversation that Drew and Wes had last night. I did listen to it, thought it was worth re-racking, and let you listen to exactly what Corey Reamer had to say on this matchup between Alabama and Oklahoma. So all that being said, full show ahead of us. And I don't know if a point spread moving from 1.5 to Bama to 1.5 to Oklahoma is as significant as Wes believes it is. But I'll check out the latest injury report as well and get you ready, because Cuevas is playing. It does look – Jam Miller is definitely playing. And if Alabama can just not turn the ball over more than anything, that is what cost Alabama the first go-around against the Sooners.
Easier said than done.
Are you buying? Are you thinking Oklahoma too?
That's
there, John?
Kind of what I've been thinking. I mean, it's really tough to imagine Alabama going in the way that they've been playing as of late and finding the victory. I mean, Alabama might be a little healthier, but so is this Oklahoma team, and they've got a lot more time to kind of prep for this game as well, and they also don't have to travel. So all things, in my opinion, are kind of swaying towards the Sooners, but at the same time, if Alabama does get a quick start and tries to avoid those turnovers that they had in that first matchup, then I think it will still be a very close, very compelling game. It's not just, cut and paste, this one team's going to win. It really will come down to the wire, but right now it is slightly leaning towards the Sooners, and I honestly think that the line should have been in their favor from the beginning.
Well, at least from one report that I read this afternoon from Outkick, there was a significant sum of money put on Oklahoma yesterday that helped jar that number back towards Oklahoma. I mean, because in the end, this is why these lines are set. It's so that Vegas can make money either way. And so that is why we're, seeing something like that happen. Yeah. Anyway, Trevor Maddich is going to join us at the top of the hour. We'll also kind of go through a little bit of by the way, I didn't mention it with Wes. I probably should have. I watched the Ragin' Cajuns play some football last night, and that was that was tough to watch last night. But I was watching a bowl game. I was actually watching a bowl game, and then of course had the early wake-up call with Scott Tyson and Drudy Arman for the morning show. All right, on the subject of taking a break, let's go ahead and take one right now. I am inside A.E. Wood Coliseum. It's The Drive here on a Thursday afternoon, and your phone calls are welcome on the other side at 256-576-4977. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Well-informed truck and SUV buyers wait all year for this moment because they know the year-end deals are worth the wait. Hi, folks. Don Wessels for Woody Anderson Ford, and these are the final days of our year-end sales event. We've got nearly 700 new Fords ready for you, and all 25 models come with an additional $1,000 final days bonus cash. Drive home with no payments for 90 days, plus get financing as low as 0% for 60 months on the 25 F-150, Explorer, Escape, Transit Van, and the Lightning. Or choose one of our zero-down 36-month leases starting at just $349 on our most popular models. Plus 2 years of complimentary maintenance. First payment due at signing, no security deposit, plus tax, tag, title, and fees with approved credit. Offer ends 12/31. This is as good as it gets. No payments for 90 days, 0% for 60 months, and no money down, $349 leases. The end of the year is here, and we've got the deals that make that wait worthwhile. Only at Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Don Wessels, and we can't wait to see you.
Exceptional outcomes start with exceptional therapists, and that's what you'll find at Johnson & Hayes Physical Therapy. With 7 convenient locations across North Alabama, Johnson & Hayes offers expert care close to home. Our experienced clinicians specialize in everything from orthopedic and neurological rehab to TMJ, pelvic health, and lymphedema therapy. Johnson & Hayes is trusted by physicians and by patients across the region. Visit johnsonandhayes.com and see why outcomes matter at Johnson & Hayes.
Injured in a car accident? Get the help you need. I'm Morris Lilienthal, a personal injury lawyer right here in Huntsville. I've personally helped over 4,000 clients with their injury claims. My firm, Martinson & Beeson, has been helping clients for over 80 years, and we have received over 300 five-star Google reviews. We know that injuries and accidents can be life-changing, and I'm here to help you navigate the entire process. Get in touch with me right now by visiting morristheattorney.com. There's no charge for our meeting. Again, that's morristheattorney.com. I look forward to helping you.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance Center. Are those new school clothes wearing out that old washer and dryer? Well, it's time to get off the bus at Owen Home Appliance Center and learn what a new Speed Queen washer can do for you. They're in stock and are ready for delivery now. At Owen Home Appliance Center, quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's right there in the name, Owen Home Appliance Center. 2 locations to serve you, Highway 36 in Somerville and the interactive location at Highway 231 in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Looking deep downfield, looking for Williams. Comes back, makes the catch, trying to split defenders, makes them bang into each other, stays on his feet, breaks a tackle, scores! Ryan Williams, one play, 75 yards.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Jamming out here on a Thursday evening inside. And I did find out they call this place the Golden Dome. It is A.E. Wood Coliseum. And I'm telling you, I know you've probably never been here, John Abraham, but you walk in and it's one of those science experiments where you can be on one end of the court, say something, and someone on the other end, when you whisper it, can hear it easily.
Very interesting.
So,
it's when you said it, honestly, it reminded me of what I call my my toilet, the Golden Bowl.
Not sure I can say that on this end, but being at the scorer's table. But the women's game is starting as we speak. Your phone calls are certainly welcome here on The Drive. Trevor Maddich is set to join us here in about 20 minutes' time. I am going to try to resist the urge of calling a game that is sitting right in front of me. All right, 256-576-4977, the telephone number. And the portal is getting populated in a big, big way. Bo Perbula was one name that I saw that is about to enter in the portal. That is the Missouri quarterback that is jumping in there. And there is once again, this cycle, albeit different because it's going to be from January 2nd to January 12th. This go around will be different from the simple fact that it is after the first National Signing Day, which took place the first Wednesday of this month, back on December the 3rd. And so it will be after the bowl games and even that second round of the college football playoff that you'll be able to hear right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. So it is a different deal with the portal. And so there is a lot changing calendar-wise And I don't know how this is going to shape up immediately, because I don't see a whole lot of permanent answers, honestly, on what is good and what is healthy for this sport, because I did hear Eli Drinkwitz in his press conference mention that the sport is sick. And I would tend to agree with that. For those that follow college football, I think you would probably agree with me that college football is sick, needs help. But if you just look at the TV ratings, and if you're in that regard, you would probably think college football's fine, no problem, no issues, because of those TV numbers keep expanding and growing more than anything. It's but it's a mess. And the biggest area that I can show you in that regard was the meetings up on the Hill that took place. And for this was Congressman Chip Roy as well as Congressman Frank Pallone, and they went into it. And I know I played a little bit of it, but I've really not had time to dive into this because of everything that has gone on around the sport. But take a listen to a little bit longer of a clip here from Congressman Chip Roy on what he believes the issues could be surrounding the sport of college football. Now, this is around the SCORE Act, which was tabled a couple of weeks ago, and they did not vote on it.
The thing is we've lost this whole thing. We don't have college athletics. It's a joke. Like, we've destroyed college athletics. We have minor league sports, particularly football, to some degree basketball, but particularly football, masquerading as collegiate, using university brands and trading off of the sensibilities and the nostalgia of alumni. That's what we have. The massive profit centers using monopoly brands with trademarks that gouge the holy hell out of the average consumer. That's what we've created. And I respect immensely the efforts by the committee to try to address the crap show that we currently see that is college athletics. And I respect a lot of the steps taken to try to create a national standard out of the haphazard mess after the court with respect to NIL and what we're having to deal with now that the horses are out of the barn. I am frustrated because I do not believe this rule should proceed, and I have not yet debated on or reached a conclusion on how I'm going to vote on the rule because I'm frustrated, because this should be able to be amended by the body. It's a complicated issue that involves, with all respect, more members than sit on the committee. And this is the classic kind of bill that should be able to be amended. I sit here having not submitted amendments. I try not to typically, as a Rules Committee member, to sort of lead the charge on amendments. But it's notable that this is the Monday after Thanksgiving. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe this bill is designed to get through, have a rule this week, and push it through with the forces of, with all respect to my friends at Texas and A&M, the SEC and the Big Ten, and a handful of others, the ACC, my undergraduate alma mater. With all respect, they're pushing this hard. I think the gentleman from Massachusetts asked some good questions about coaches. I mean, why in the hell are we allowing coaches to walk out and be paid not to coach for years? It's insane. I mean, what we just saw unfold with Lane Kiffin is just an absolute abomination. People say, well, this is the market working, Chip. This is the market forces at play. This is not supposed to be a market, not in that classic sense. Yes, college sports can compete with the NFL for revenue. Yes, college sports can compete with other entertainment dollars. I get that. But this is not supposed to be NFL light. But yet that's how we're treating it. And now we're trying to sort of bastardize this whole thing with a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. That's what we're doing. And I don't think it's sufficient. I think we should have amendments. I don't know what we're doing, what the powers that we have here in engaging and interfering with states. But if we're going to take a big federal step because a federal court intervened and we're going to intervene, well, then maybe we should fully intervene. Maybe we should fix the damn mess so that we don't have, 16 teams in the SEC and 17 teams in the ACC and 19 teams in the Big Ten and frigging Stanford and Berkeley on the West Coast in the Atlantic Coast Conference, all because of money. I mean, it's just laughable that this is anything but about a massive money grab and a shuffling around of how to. All interestingly, when ESPN and the big sports channels are at their nadir, at their low, right? I mean, heck, we can just have fancy cameras and give them to students at the universities and just stream it. Why are we paying these massive contracts to, or, why are we allowing these big, ESPN and all these and ABC and everybody to come in and throw billions of dollars at the universities and then go, oh, that's the revenue. And by the way, when we talk about revenue sharing, what are we talking about? Are we talking about actual net income? It's not a private corporation. Does the University of Texas at Darrell K. Royal Memorial Stadium, do we have to pay rent for that dirt to the state taxpayers? Is that factored into it? Or any of the stadium costs? Or how about the fact that these are land grant universities? How about the oil revenue that funds the University of Texas and Texas A&M? The state taxpayers in 1870 whatever gave for the good of the people to develop a university. What about James Monroe giving the dirt to Mr. Jefferson so they could build the University of Virginia, then Central College in 1819? Is that dirt something that should be factored into the cost? It's valuable dirt. How about the tax revenue? I don't know what the percentage is. I know, Texas and A&M is probably 20-something% that's just state tax revenue. It's a huge chunk of the $3 or $4 billion annual budget of the universities. How about the federal grant revenue? Or, we're just shoveling out money in this institution, $38 trillion of debt later. We just throw money at universities. What about the student loans that are backed by the federal taxpayer? What about Pell Grants? What about, just go down all the list of all the things that are being thrown at universities. And then there's this revenue stream and we're saying, okay, now how are we going to split that pot of money up? Well, would any of those athletes, good friends of mine that played football, played basketball, good friends of mine that played golf or on the swim team or, track, God bless them. Should they get some of the revenue? Should they get some NIL stuff because their name, image, likeness are being used and exploited by universities? Probably. But seriously, we're going all over this on the dollars they're getting when there's billions of dollars thrown into these academic institutions. And we're going to get hung up on, this person, Arch has got to get paid $6 million to have some ridiculous ad for sweatpants or something. I don't even know. Saw it on TV last weekend. I mean, look, I've got amendments. I'd love to see head coach pay limited to no more than the president of university. How about we limit and say, okay, well, should any of the athletes get paid at all? If they do get paid, it certainly can't be paid more than a faculty member. What if we said, you've got to, if you're going to net out the expenses, nobody's getting paid for anything until you've covered any of all of these great gifts from the taxpayers of this great country for these institutions to exist?
That is just a portion of Congressman Chip Roy. And I'm telling you, this was Monday, December the 1st, when that hearing partook. And I've been holding that because there's honestly so much to talk about around college football this time of year that I wanted to give that the due spotlight that it needed. But I'm telling you, if you listen or even watch, and you can dig it up on C-SPAN in the archives from December the 1st, I'm just telling you, the longer I was listening to Chip Roy and then later on his Democratic counterpart in Frank Pallone was just in lockstep with him. If you're a college football fan and you hear that, Congress ain't helping anytime soon. He is talking about the dirt, on the value of the dirt of these public universities, and giving students cameras and streaming capabilities instead of ESPN. When at the very beginning of getting involved in collegiate sports, and be it, I'm on the D2 level for the most part, and yes, I do cover college football on what I perceive to be the highest level in the Southeastern Conference. It is the billboard for the university. It is how they advertise the universities across the board. LSU Lynch has called in. I'm sure he's got some uplifting things to say as well about me in the state of Mississippi. How are you, Lynch?
Vaughn, how are you?
I'm good.
Let's go. Hey, it was great to see y'all the other night. Great to see you, brother.
I tell you, I thank you. Thank you to everybody who came out to Field Day. That was such a cool event out there at Field Day on Tuesday.
So let me ask you this, son. What is Alabama going to do tomorrow night?
You know, everybody's telling me they're going to give me a big fat L. I just, it's making me lean Alabama, honestly. What about you, Lynch?
I don't care. At this point, Alabama should not be in there. And I think that.
But they're in there. Yeah.
But they are. But they don't deserve to be in there. And we can argue that all day long. With the, this Christmas time.
Do they deserve to be in there more than JMU or Tulane? I mean,
that's a joke too.
That's
a joke.
That goes to what I'm talking about with the system. I mean, there's just, heaven forbid Tulane or JMU play within like a field goal or a last-minute field goal for Oregon or Ole Miss, because you talk about some ramifications. I'm just telling you. You know what I'm talking about, Lynch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anyway, thank you for taking my phone call and everything, and y'all have a great day, brother. And go LSU, the Lane Train.
Trevor Maddich is about 10 minutes away. Let's go ahead and take our final timeout in this first hour. Live here from Clinton, Mississippi. John Abraham's back in the studios. Steve Moulton here with you on this Thursday. We're not on tomorrow due to the pregame show for the Crimson Tide Sports Network that starts at 4 o'clock. Scoreboard update for you. The Lady Choctaws lead it over the Chargers 18-15 with 2 minutes left to go in quarter number 1. All right, let's take our final timeout. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com. Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement, it's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Need tough equipment you can count on? Christopher Equipment has you covered. Whether it's air compressors, trenchers, bucket lifts, concrete tools, generators, skid steers, and more. Serving you with locations in Tullahoma, Shelbyville, Manchester, Fayetteville, and Hazel Green. Christopher Equipment. From job site to backyard, rent or buy, Christopher Equipment delivers the tools you need when you need them. Call 931-455-3900 or visit Christopher.equipment today. Christopher Equipment, powering your project.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Showers and thunderstorms come to an end as we head into the overnight. Temperatures dropping into the low and mid-30s. Plenty of sunshine for your Friday. We are going to be cooler, though. Highs only climbing into the mid and upper 40s. A mostly sunny sky for your Saturday. Back to the warmth. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 50s and lower 60s.
Your Fox 54 weather. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Tom Abraham Show. Weekdays beginning at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
The women are down by 3 after quarter number 1. 22-19 is your score there in favor of the Choctaws. 256-576-4977 if you'd like to hop on and be a part of the program. John Abraham filling in for Brian Temple here this evening, and I am courtside inside what is known as the Golden Dome, even though if you drove past it, it is looks more like a golf ball than anything golden. Anyway, that being said, your point spreads for this upcoming weekend, just for the CFP, Alabama is now a 1.5-point underdog as they started out as a 1.5-point favorite there at Boomer Sooner. Our coverage Saturday, trying to keep the days straight in my head, 11 a.m. kick time between Miami and Texas A&M. That opened up as a 4.5-point spread. Pardon me. The game ball just decided to roll over to me. There you go, Paris. It is currently a 3.5-point favorite. I'm getting some of the weirdest looks. Texas A&M is a 3.5-point favorite at home over Miami Saturday morning. Then Saturday afternoon, the point spread really has not moved all that much between Ole Miss and Tulane. It opened up at 16.5. It's now at 17.5 in favor of the Rebs over the Green Wave of Tulane. And then later on that evening, a 6:30 kick time. Oregon opened up as a 21.5-point favorite and are currently a 21-point favorite. And I think this goes to right what I was mentioning there with LSU Lynch, John, and that is I just want to see some good games.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I mean, we can count on one hand really since the CFP expanded in 2014. How many really good games we've had in the playoffs.
Yeah, it is true. I mean, we've had a lot of compelling games. Obviously, not every single one of those 4-team playoffs were going to really result in the best of the matchups. But at the end of the day, I mean, those were the games that really made us excited. And that was also back whenever college football was kind of college football. And, players weren't getting paid. There weren't all these guys transferring every single second. But, it showed us a little bit of the both sides of the coin. And now we have literally just open season for all these guys to either move or get into the postseason.
I'm excited to talk to Trevor Matich at the top of the hour, honestly, about a matchup that I have not really dove into a ton because we've been so focused on Alabama, Oklahoma, and that is Miami, Texas A&M. And Miami, because of their head-to-head win over Notre Dame, getting that last spot, and all of a sudden, Texas A&M kind of limping their way towards the finish line. I mean, if you really think about their last home game being down, I believe, by 27 at halftime to South Carolina, they came all the way back and won that game. And then the second half, they're in Austin. It was not a very good ending for Texas A&M, but they are the 7 seed, taking on the 10 seed Miami. But intrigued to talk to Trevor Matich. By the way, scoreboard update for you. As a steal turns into a layup for the old Choctaws, and they now lead it 26-23 with 7 minutes left to go before halftime here inside the Wood. Hour 1 in the books. Little did you know what you were signing up for there, John Abraham. Little did I know what I was signing up for there, Steve Moulton. Yeah, I went third person. Sports Center update, and we'll talk to you on the other side.
The holidays are here, and so is the holiday pizzazz at Loring & Company Fine Jewelers. At Loring & Company, they know this season is all about family, time, and meaningful connections. And when it comes to finding that perfect gift, they make it easy, enjoyable, and unforgettable. Step into a sparkling world of the world's most desired jewelry brands, all in one place. Their friendly, experienced staff is ready to help you discover something extraordinary. Whether you're shopping for a spouse, a parent, a child, or treating yourself to a little festive shine, finding the right gift doesn't have to be stressful. At Loring & Company Fine Jewelers, it's a pleasure. They'll help you choose a piece that says exactly what you want it to say, beautifully. This holiday season, let the Loring family welcome you into theirs. Visit Loring & Company Fine Jewelers at 800 Airport Road in Huntsville and shop anytime at loringjewelers.com. Add a little holiday pizzazz to your celebrations at Loring & Company Fine Jewelers.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. NFL Week 16 kicks off with a massive game tonight. Rams-Seahawks. Not only is sole possession of first in the NFC West on the line, but the winner also will be in the driver's seat for the top spot in the NFC. LA star receiver Devontae Adams doubtful with knee and hamstring injuries. So how do things change for the Rams if he's out? Pro Football Hall of Famer Warren Moon.
They probably will lose a lot down in the red zone because that's where they use him a lot because he gets one-on-one and he's one of the best, off the football as far as his releases. So he scored a lot of touchdowns. But I think Puka's going to probably take over that role. You'd love to have him at your disposal, but I think, not having him won't hurt him as much as people think because of how much they're playing the 3 tight end set.
Warren Moon on Amber and Ian. 2 of the Bears' top receivers ruled out for Saturday's showdown versus the Packers. A recurring foot injury will sideline Rome Odunze a 3rd straight game. Luther Burden III's out with an ankle injury. Injured Green Bay running back Josh Jacobs and receiver Christian Watson, both listed as questionable. ESPN's Adam Schefter's reporting the Jaguars are finalizing a 3-year, $60 million deal with receiver Jacoby Myers. AFC South leading Jacksonville is 5-1 since acquiring him from the Raiders. WNBA members voted overwhelmingly to authorize calling a strike when necessary during ongoing negotiations between the Players Association and WNBA on a new collective bargaining agreement. The two sides have remained far apart in negotiations. Retired NASCAR driver Greg Biffle, his wife, and 2 children among the 7 people killed in a plane crash today in North Carolina.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Friday, we preview the first round of the college football playoff, plus get you ready for Week 16 in the NFL. That includes Bears, Packers, Part 2. It's on Sportsman 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Hour number 2 rolls along. Scoreboard update right in front of me here in Clinton, Mississippi. The UH Chargers taking on the Choctaws of Mississippi College. Tied at 31 with 4:23 left to go in the second quarter. We'll have coverage of the men and maybe put a bow on the final few minutes of the women's game as soon as we are done here with the drive. Always fun to talk with our next guest, and with the CFP literally it's now 25 hours away now that we're Alabama, Oklahoma right on the doorstep. He is a member of the BYU Hall of Fame, as well as a national champion as well there at BYU. He's the 28th overall selection. I won't say of which draft, but Trevor Maddich, kind enough to join us. How are you, Trev? You just got me today. Wes decided to bow out early.
Well, Wes has got important things to go do. He's got to save the world, and so we'll give him the time to go and do that. And when he comes back, if the world hasn't disappeared, we'll know that he was successful.
Absolutely. But it does. Trust me, I've got plenty to want to ask about. I actually want to start with and maybe end with Alabama, Oklahoma, but I'm more intrigued with a matchup that I haven't spent a whole lot of time on in the state of Alabama, and that is Texas A&M and Miami. What do you think about that matchup, Trev?
I think that is a fascinating matchup, and I know what the keys to the game will be, Steve, but I don't know how they're going to turn out, because ultimately both quarterbacks have struggled this year under pressure. Carson Beck for Miami has 6 interceptions combined in their 2 losses. And under pressure, he tended to force the ball. And Marcel Reed of Texas A&M has had a lot of turnovers down the stretch, same kind of a thing. Both of these quarterbacks will face one of the best pass rushes in the nation, but those pass rushes will have a completely different problem. For Texas A&M's pass rush, I mean, they've got, Cassius Howell, who is the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, a ferocious pass rusher. Texas A&M is tied for the nation's lead with 41 sacks. They just excel at getting after the quarterback. And they will have a stationary target because Carson Beck is very much a pocket passer. And I'm not saying that he wouldn't beat the Statue of Liberty in a 40-yard dash, but he wouldn't beat it by much, right? And so the A&M pass rush, right? The A&M pass rush will be able to pin their ears back and get after the quarterback in the pocket. Whereas the other side, Miami, also one of the best pass rushes in the nation, faces Marcel Reed, who is an electrifying runner, in addition to being an improved passer. So ironically, Akeem Mesidor on one side, Reuben Bain on the other, both future first-round draft choices from the Hurricanes, will have to slow down their pass rush in order to contain Reed in the pocket, because they can live with it if Reed stands in the pocket and beats them as a pocket passer and is more of a pocket passer than Carson Beck will be. What they can't live with is if Reed gets out and creates on the move and gets a lot of yards, especially unscheduled yards on the ground with his legs. And so you've got an A&M pass rush that's going to tee off. You've got a Miami pass rush that's going to need to slow down. And that's going to be the big key then. So which of the quarterbacks, given the situation that they will face from the opposing side of the ball, which of those two quarterbacks will make the big mistake? And that will be the difference in the game. I just can't get my brain wrapped around which one is most likely to make that mistake.
Can you just how Texas A&M ended the season with what they did against South Carolina and the second half against Texas? And it is a home game, which I think is a big deal for the Aggies. But how they ended just kind of sticks with me a little bit more, Trevor.
Yeah, you're right about that. They go on the road and lost to Texas, which is no great sin. But South Carolina finished the season, awful. I mean, they did not make a bowl game. At least I don't think they did. Maybe they did it as a 5-win team. Anyway, but they weren't a team that a lot of the other teams didn't beat. And in this game, Texas A&M trailed 30-3 at halftime. 30-3 at halftime. Then they came back and stormed back with 28 points in the second half and won the game 31-30. And in some ways, that highlights what they're capable of and what their biggest weakness is. They're capable of having a lockdown defense and an offense that's unstoppable. But that lockdown defense often will give up big plays in between being a brick wall. And the offense often will disappear in between moments when they win shootouts. I mean, they had games that they had to score 40 points plus to beat Arkansas and Notre Dame. But then again, they won against Auburn 16-10. So it's kind of a weird Texas A&M team. And playing at Texas A&M is a real problem for Miami's offensive line. It's one of the best offensive lines in the nation, but they're not going to be able to hear the cadence. And so how much will that affect their ability to deal with that terrific front for A&M?
This is the first year where we get a true seeding, where it's not conference champions get bumped up to the byes, and none of the byes ended up benefiting the teams last year. How do you think overall, what do you think of the bracket as a whole entering in this new style, this new format?
I like the bracket. I like seeding it the way that they did. I have an idea of what should happen for changes to the playoff, and it actually just came to me about 10 minutes ago. But I think overall what we're looking at now is pretty good. But I think ultimately the biggest story here is going to be how will James Madison and Tulane do in the first round. These are two teams from the group of five who are both in because they're two of the five highest-ranked conference champions. But Tulane finished ranked number 20. James Madison at number 24 came into the field of 12 from way back in the rankings. And they bounced number 11 Notre Dame and number 12 BYU out of the playoff. Okay, now I like the idea of giving conference champions extra dispensation to value the conference championship races. But the way that it turned out at the end, especially with Notre Dame, where they were in the playoff until the final ranking, and then the committee switched them with Miami, which the committee should have done weeks earlier because Miami had beaten Notre Dame head-to-head. But by doing it on the very last ranking, and now Miami's in and Notre Dame is out, that created a ton of anger, a ton of acrimony. And there's other teams, too, that are mad about the way it turned out. And I think that if James Madison and Tulane go get torched in the first round, it will be a catalyst for big change in the way they handle the automatic bids for conference champions. So, Tulane and James Madison are not thinking about that. They're thinking about winning their own game. But the bigger picture is that there's a lot of pressure on them to do well.
Boy, oh boy. I mean, If James Madison or Tulane were to win, ... finish that, because at least in our world, we have not gone there. But I mean, if either of those two happen to win, and I would say Tulane's got a better shot than James Madison, just knee jerk. But if one of those were to win, you finish that thought for me. What would that do to the CFP?
It would show that there are teams farther back that no one gave a chance to that have a chance. I mean, when you look at the basketball tournament, right, you've got, 68 teams or something like that?
Yeah.
But if you've got two great three-point shooters, one guy that can score in the paint, and everybody else a bunch of scrappy juniors and seniors that can play defense, you've got a chance as a Cinderella to move deep into there. But football is different, right? I mean, we can make the playoff go from 12 to 24, and people will be happy because their team's in. But really, will the back eight teams really have any much better opportunity to win? Well, right now we're thinking no. But if James Madison or Tulane wins in the first round, at least a case can be made that, well, you know what? Yeah, maybe these teams can, and we'll see. I mean, the future, we'll see what happens there. I mean, Texas Tech showed us what the future is. They're in a power conference, but they got themselves a billionaire or two or three, and they have purchased a roster better than most other people have. And any team could do that if they've got their very own billionaire, or at least a whole bunch of 100 millionaires they can stack up. And so, but those teams are likely to be ranked higher anyway. So, I just, and Tulane, I think, does have the better chance to win outright. But James Madison, I wouldn't count them out necessarily. I think they have a chance to make that a game.
Interesting. If I gave you Indiana, Ohio State, or the field, where are you going?
Ohio State. Indiana gave Ohio State the greatest gift. Oh, I'm sorry. What'd you say, Steve?
Oh, no. So had I just said Ohio State or the field, you would have been fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with Ohio State. Because look at what happened with the Buckeyes last year.
Yeah.
Last game of the regular season, they lose to Michigan for the fourth straight year.
Same score.
Didn't play in the Big Ten championship game. And they came into the playoff last year with a red-hot fury. And you could tell by the way they played. It was like, whoa, these guys are playing with a different level of intensity than anybody else, giving their best, because they were so furious at having lost to their rival again, hearing several weeks of the talk about should their coach be fired because he can't beat Michigan again. And they came out and just laid waste to everybody in front of them, won the national championship last year. Well, this year, they're undefeated. They beat Michigan. They go to the Big Ten championship game. They lose to Indiana, and Indiana was the better team on the field that day. Well, I think the gift for Ohio State is the gift of rage, once again for the second year in a row. And I think they're going to come out with that same fury that they did last year and pity the poor teams that are in front of them.
Wow. I had an opportunity to play. I watched way too much C-SPAN on, I think that was on Monday the 1st, and listened to quite a bit. Yeah.
Is it possible to watch too much C-SPAN? I don't even think it's possible.
It was anything pertaining to the sport of college football and the SCORE Act, and listening to what Congressman Chip Roy had to say does not give me a whole lot of hope that this SCORE Act is going to have any legs anytime soon.
You know what? I appreciate the thought of trying to fix college football, but at this point, I don't think there can be a top-down fix. Just for all of, like, say, the FBS. What is it? 136 teams now, however many's that. And you just can't. You can't apply a standard to everybody because the commitment, the resources, those kinds of things are not equal, even remotely close. People talk about, well, look, the NFL, what they did and all the rest. Well, the NFL is 32 teams where everybody's got very similar resources, although the big cities, they have different, marketing deals and stuff like that. But with college football, a top-down solution for all the good it might do for the lesser teams would take away from the top-tier teams, and that's not fair either. You would have to either have two super conferences Big Ten and SEC, and then let everything else shake out at a different level. Or, you'd have to let the market handle it. And I think right now the market is what needs to handle it. And, ultimately, people are saying, well, the transfer portal's terrible. Yeah, well, it is, because you can transfer every year if you want. But you can't restrict it without falling afoul of the courts for illegal restraint of trade. Now what you could do is you could sign guys as an individual team and say, look, you're not forced to do this, but hey, we'll give you extra money if you, whether it's NIL or rev share or whatever, we'll give you extra money if you sign and commit to be with us for 2 years, more if it's 3 years, that kind of thing. So things like that could happen. But I think ultimately the market is going to have to solve it, because any top-down solution, for all the benefits that it will provide, will also provide an equal number of detriments.
One thing, it's a mess more than any. And we're seeing this new calendar shake out a little differently with the portal opening up in January, but that first national signing day happening the week of championship week. It's there's a lot to juggle, and when you've got different states involved, that just adds to the mess that I would say that we're dealing with, Trev.
Yeah, it really does. Part of the problem with the states is that you've had different laws over the first few years of NIL in terms of how NIL is handled according to state law, and what's allowed and what's not. Even at the high school level, you've got some states that allow NIL to be paid to high school athletes and some that don't. And so, you're seeing differences, and state legislators in states where college football is more important, they're going to try to give their local teams the biggest advantage possible. And then the adjacent states, competing states, are going to have a big race to do that. And is that what's best for the sport of college football? That's why I think, top down is not the way to do it. I think ultimately the market's going to have to shake it out. And I think college football fans are going to have to just accept what the market says, because anything else will have to be held together with barbed wire, and teams will be trying to get out of it somehow, rather than just letting it be what it will be and let it be more natural.
Well put. Let's close with Alabama, Oklahoma. The point spread flip. Actually, they're on. My apologies for. Did you happen to hear what Nick Saban said today about the playoff?
No, I thought he said something, but I was on TV all day and I didn't see what it was.
This is what Coach Saban said. This is on the Pat McAfee show. Would love to get your reaction to what Nick had to say on basically the group of five being invited into the CFP.
Would we allow the winner of the AAA baseball league, the international league, whatever they call it, I don't even know the name of it, would you let them in the World Series playoffs?
I don't think they do. No, I don't think.
No, they don't. But I'm saying, that's the equivalent of what we do when JMU gets in to the college football playoff and Notre Dame doesn't. I mean, I don't want to start any, but it is what it is.
So that is, of course, the colorful language there, courtesy of the Pat McAfee factor. But nonetheless, what do you think of the point that Coach Saban is trying to make there?
Yeah, it's first of all the ACC's fault that James Madison is in, because right now it's the top 5 highest ranked conference champions that get an automatic berth. The ACC's conference champion was Duke with 5 losses, and James Madison, the Sun Belt champion, group of 5 or group of 6. I don't know how I'm going to define it. They're ranked 24th, which is higher than Duke. Duke wasn't ranked, and that's why they're in, right? And so the whole highest ranked conference championship thing, I think, is going to be kind of altered, if not thrown out, if James Madison and Tulane get smoked in the playoff, because there is a whole lot of anger over Notre Dame not making it. There's a whole lot of anger also that BYU didn't make it, and Vanderbilt as a 10-2 SEC team. And, so there's, I see his point. At the same time, I would like to see some way to make sure that we continue to honor conference championships. But this is where kind of I have an idea that might do it. But it still would have teams in it that Coach Saban doesn't want. And so I don't, but he's right. He's reflecting the anger, I think, in the college football world that number 11 and 12 BYU are not in the playoff, but number 20 Tulane and number 24 James Madison are. And so I would think that it's come to a head to the point where things will start to change. I hope they're changed for the better. Certainly, they would ensure that the best teams are in. But it will also, I think, diminish a little bit some of those conference championship races, because right now, look at what happened going into the final weekend, championship weekend. I mean, fans of James Madison up in the Northeast, kind of where they are in Virginia, and fans of Tulane, they were all, and by the way, North Texas, who played Tulane, and
that's right.
Troy, who played James Madison, they all had a chance possibly to make the playoff going into the last weekend. And that keeps fan bases in every region engaged to the very end. Instead of, hey, our best team just lost its second game. They don't have a chance to make it. Now, from a national standpoint, we can just check out. And I don't think that's good either.
I mean, we see this on the FCS level. We see it Division II, Division III. And I know Ferris State and Harding are getting ready to square off, I believe, Saturday for the national championship there in D2. Ferris State's a monster, by the way. But, I mean, we see it on every single level except the highest level. An expanded playoff is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, we do. We do. And this is why, what I'm thinking right now is, you're right about that. And so how do you do it? How do you go about it without turning college football into the NFL? In the NFL, division races only matter as they relate to the playoff, and that's it. Who cares who won the NFC East? No one cares, right? But, people care who won the Sun Belt. It matters. It matters who won the American and who won Conference USA. It matters, man. It's a big deal. And you get a banner raised in your honor in the building that'll be there. You can show your kids or your grandkids right there. See that one? That banner was me and my team. We won the conference championship. Right now in the NFL, who cares? You win the Super Bowl or you lost, and all the other 31 teams lost. I don't like that. Now, I'm not saying conference championships will go away, but I just don't want to see them diminished too much by the playoff, which is kind of where we're headed right now if we're not careful.
Feels that way. I agree wholeheartedly. Let's end our conversation with Alabama-Oklahoma with the point spread flipping. Wes thought that was significant. Do you think that's significant?
I think it could be. Right now we're showing it flip from Alabama being favored to Oklahoma being favored, right? By
correct.
Point and a half.
1.5. Yep. Yeah, either way. Yep. Now it's Oklahoma, a 1.5 favorite.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think initially people looked at the game in the regular season where Oklahoma won 23-21 in Tuscaloosa, but Alabama had almost double the total yards. It was 3 turnovers for Oklahoma to none given up. Three turnovers by Alabama, none given up by Oklahoma. And those 3 takeaways by Oklahoma led to 17 points at a 2-point win. And that's not necessarily reliably repeatable. So I think people are looking at Alabama as being really the better team. But for that, well, the thing is, Alabama struggles to run the ball. I mean, against Georgia, their leading rusher got 11 yards, and they finished with -3 yards rushing. And if Ty Simpson, the quarterback, isn't winning the game with his arm, Alabama's not winning the game. The thing about Oklahoma is that they're tied with A&M with 41 sacks for the nation's lead. They're a much better quarterback pressuring team than even Georgia is, and they're still very stout against the run. And I think Oklahoma will play the run on the way to the quarterback. I think the Sooners will figure that if Alabama suddenly sprouts a dominant running game, oh well, we can live with that. But we can't be beat by the passing game in Ty Simpson. And I think they're just going to go after him like crazy. And I think that you'll have a low scoring output by Alabama. But I think the Oklahoma offense won't score that much either. LT Overton, Alabama's great defensive lineman, he'll be out in this game. That'll complicate things for the Tide. But to me, the Oklahoma, the offensive success will come down to John Mateer, their quarterback, creating on the move. Their offense is not very good anyway. And really, I think that he'll need to extend plays. He'll need to run. He'll need to just be creative in order to move the ball well enough to score enough points to be able to win this game. And so really it comes down to both quarterbacks for different reasons. I don't think Mateer is going to stand back in the pocket and deliver downfield and beat the Alabama secondary. That's not going to happen. It's going to have to be creating. So, which quarterback could deal with the kind of pressure that they're going to be under? And I think that Oklahoma has the edge here, partly because Alabama's offensive line won't be able to hear the cadence that helps the pass rush for the Sooners. And, I think that Oklahoma is rightfully slight favorites. Keep in mind that typically you give about 3 points to the home team. And the fact that this is within 1.5 points now means that at a neutral site, the odds makers are saying that Alabama would win by 1.5 points. But because it's at Oklahoma, then you give them 3 points, and therefore they're favored by 1.5. So this is essentially a pick'em game that I think will come down to how the quarterbacks play.
What is stuck in my head, at least, is that last look we had of Oklahoma when they struggled against LSU. And LSU, that was throughout all the turmoil there for the Bayou Bengals.
Yeah. The thing about LSU, though, is that their defense was not really the problem. Their offense couldn't do anything. The LSU defense was flying around to the end. And Oklahoma's offense not that good, and so that was understandably a low-scoring game. But that's where Alabama will look. They'll say, look, we may not score a lot of points. What we've got to do is protect the ball, because 3 turnovers cost us the game the first time around. And if we protect the ball, our defense should be able to slow down that Oklahoma offense.
This narrative of Kalen DeBoer to Michigan, are you surprised at that story? It's still out there in some circles of the world.
Yeah, I don't have any inside info, Steve. I think you know a lot more about it than I would. But in some ways, I think that's wishful thinking. Like, who can you get? Because Michigan fired their coach after most of the big-name coaches and hot prospects from smaller schools already signed with new schools. And most of the big-name coaches that could have left signed extensions with their current school. So now what, right? And so Kalen DeBoer is just one of those wish list people. If he goes to Michigan, he'll excel there. I think he'll excel at Alabama too. The only reason I would see him leaving is if, and this is just a hypothetical, I don't know this, if he's decided that he really is more of a northern guy from a cultural standpoint, and he would just be happier in Ann Arbor than he would be in Tuscaloosa. I don't know about that. I think Alabama is a crown jewel. And if you get a chance to be the head coach there, you stay there as long as you can, and he'll win there. Last year they just missed the playoff. This year they made the playoff. They're heading in the right direction, and they will continue to. He's proven that. But Michigan, I think that when all the dust settles, Michigan will end up with a better situation at head coach anyway. Because Sharon Moore, I think, has a high floor, but I don't think he has that high of a ceiling. I think he's limited from how high he might take that team. That's just the way they've played with him as the head coach. He's done some really good things, but when you talk about Kalen DeBoer or possibly Jed Fish of Washington, those kinds of guys that might move there, I think they'll end up with a higher ceiling. And once they kind of get past all the dumpster fire that they've got right now, they will end up in a better situation.
Bottom line is, I something that Eli Drankowitz said the other day kind of stuck with me, that college football is sick. And if you just look at the TV ratings, that doesn't tell the whole story. And I kind of agree with them that there is parts of college football that are sick. The sport itself, though, we've got eyeballs all over the place. And this is why I want good games for the college football playoffs more than anything, because that will help the sport more than anything, Trev.
Worse than the benefit for doing it, right?
Yeah.
But actually, if I'm a player, I want to be tampered with.
Yeah.
There was a coach of a team that was, it was Jim Mora. It's public. So he was at UConn, and for the last several years did a great job. Now he's at Colorado State, I think. But he went public and was all mad about teams poaching his guys and tampering with his guys. But I'm thinking, yeah, if I'm the coach, I agree with that. But if I'm a player, I want to be tampered with. I want to know if there's another team that's willing to pay me a vast amount of money if I would just say yes. And so I don't mind tampering, actually, because if I want to stay, I'm going to stay. If I'm not going to stay, I'd like to know what's up. Now, in the NFL, you can't do that, right?
Correct.
And so, and in college football, I think it's not good for the sport overall, but really it's bad for coaches, good for players. And so ultimately, I think if you want to get rid of it, you've got to catch people and then give them the Connor Stallions treatment and bounce them forever.
So what is the biggest issue surrounding college football in your opinion then? I'll throw it back to you.
I think it's the way the portal works. The calendar's awful, but just the concept of being able to move every year if you want to another team just creates too much chaos, because while it's good for the player that moves, if he gets a good destination, because we know that there are a lot of players that enter the portal and don't have a home on the other end. They think they will, but then they don't, right? And so, we hear all about the good stories. We don't hear about the bad stories, and they're legion. But ultimately, I think that, whether it's done with individual contracts at schools to keep guys there for longer, whether conferences have collective bargaining so that they can have an artificial limit on transferring, whether it's done in all of the FBS, I'm not sure, but there's got to be a way to limit that, because, when a guy leaves, he leaves behind teammates that were counting on him for the next year. He leaves behind coaches that were developing him to be a great player there. So it's good for him, possibly, bad for the people he left behind. And I'm not saying don't let him transfer, but I am saying that, to have it be 1-year contracts and unlimited free agency is not good for the sport overall. And this is a case where you've got to limit some good for some people in order to make the whole sport healthier. And I think the best way to do that is let the market decide. And if the Big Ten and SEC want to collectively bargain, great. If Alabama wants to pay somebody extra if they will commit to staying for multiple years, that's the best way to do it, because it's all voluntary. But some way, there needs to be a way to do that, because you've got teams that have had their 4 starting offensive linemen transfer. Now you're the quarterback that's got to play that next year. What do you do?
Exactly. And there is rampant speculation on where Trinidad potentially could go, who we weren't talking about in the offseason. Made a name for himself in a big way at Ole Miss. But
he did. Before that, Ferris State took them to the national championship last year, and now they're back. So I guess he didn't. It's kind of weird. But yeah, he wants to get another year back, like Diego Pavia did. And within that year was this year. Diego Pavia is finished with that now. But at least I think he is. He might try to get another year.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, this is his last year.
Okay. Then Trinidad might be able to get a year back. We'll see. But that's one of the things about Lane Kiffin going to LSU. And that is that he's very likely to take a whole lot of his best young players with him once they're done with the playoff. Now, there are several key starters that have already committed to return next year to Ole Miss. And so that might start a little bit of an avalanche of guys staying. But at the same time, we talk about players leaving their team behind. A coach goes, but then the coach brings a bunch of folks. I mean, look at Indiana. Kurt Cignetti left James Madison.
Yeah.
Went to the playoff last year. He's ranked number 1 in the nation now. But James Madison turned back around, and they're in the playoff now. And
That's
so,
true.
There's all kinds of tumultuousness that's going on, and it's hard to keep track of, frankly.
Yes, it is. I can't thank you enough for hopping on and the extended visits and the great insight. Merry Christmas to you and your family, sir, and it's always great to talk with you.
Thank you, Steve. Merry Christmas to you and yours as well. And please tell Wes how grateful we are that he has saved the world.
I will certainly pass that along. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Trevor Maddich from ESPN, and, of course, a Hall of Famer there, introduced this year as the BYU Hall of Fame. plenty to react on that if you'd like to. Scoreboard update for you. The Chargers are taking care of business right here, 62-47, with 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Let's take our first time out. Hour number 2 of the drive here on this Thursday evening. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
When Nashville does bowl season, it hits different. On Tuesday, December 30th, we're serving up big plays and conference pride. Join us at Nissan Stadium when the SEC battles the Big Ten in the Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl, where the party hits harder than bowl season glory and football roars loud enough to rattle Broadway. Get your tickets now at musiccitybowl.com. Brought to you by the Tennessee State Lottery.
Well-informed truck and SUV buyers wait all year for this moment because they know the year-end deals are worth the wait. Hi, folks. Don Wessels for Woody Anderson Ford, and these are the final days of our year-end sales event. We've got nearly 700 new Fords ready for you, and all 25 models come with an additional $1,000 final days bonus cash. Drive home with no payments for 90 days, plus get financing as low as 0% for 60 months on the 25 F-150, Explorer, Escape, Transit Van, and the Lightning. Or choose one of our zero-down 36-month leases starting at just $349 on our most popular models. Plus 2 years of complimentary maintenance. First payment due at signing, no security deposit, plus tax, tag, title, and fees with approved credit. Offer ends 12/31. This is as good as it gets. No payments for 90 days, 0% for 60 months, and no money down, $349 leases. The end of the year is here, and we've got the deals that make that wait worthwhile. Only at Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Don Wessels, and we can't wait to see you.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
AL cert number 21014.
Ah, bah humbug! We don't need no heat this holiday season!
But Mr. Scrooge, Talent Heating and Air Conditioning has free service calls with a repair.
Oh, no free calls. No heat, no cold for you.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning even has TVA rebates where they'll send you a paper check.
Who's this Talent Heating and Air people? Ah, bah humbug.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning is a real local company that'll come out and fix your unit often in the first day.
Oh, we don't need local.
Give them a call at 256-503-4490.
Oh, who again?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, or find them online at talenthac.com.
Then a toast, my love, my dearie, to our Merry Christmas. God bless us.
God bless us. God bless us.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Back here in the Magnolia State, they're through three quarters. How about them Chargers? 71-55. UAH is up over the Choctaws after three quarters of play. We'll have coverage on the men coming up here as soon as we are done. And we're actually just about done, John. That was a really good conversation there with Trevor Mattich from ESPN. And he has been a busy man here this fall, and we certainly appreciate his time. So he likes Oklahoma. In fact, he even dove in and said, if you really paid attention to that, he liked Mateer over Ty Simpson. And that surprised me.
Yeah, it's been a minute since we've seen Mateer really pop off. And as of late, it's been the same thing for Ty Simpson. But again, I feel like a lot of that came from Mateer's hand being a little bit messed up for a few weeks after that Auburn matchup. And I think at this point, he's finally probably at full health. I mean, I can't say full health, but I'd say the best he's going to be at probably this season. For Ty Simpson, I feel like a lot of it could be a little bit more of the mental side of things. And on top of that, he doesn't have the help with the run game. And so it's forced him to have to make big plays constantly throughout the 4 quarters. And that's the one thing that I really think is going to go against the Tide. It's good to have Jam Miller back, though.
Yeah. And at least the reports of the wind being a factor as well, it's going to put even more of a premium on that run game. Final call for phone calls here at 256-576-4977. Some of the news of the day that just kind of popped off the page to me. How about Texas rehiring Will Muschamp? Now, if you remember back in the day, Will Muschamp was a coach in waiting at Texas. This is, John, I think you may have been in elementary school of the news that I'm talking about here, because it was Mac Brown who was the head coach of the Longhorns, and their coach in waiting was Will Muschamp.
Trust me, I know Will Muschamp very well when it comes to just, being around sports all my life. But this is a guy that has been in Alabama. He's been all throughout the SEC. And it's funny, you throw out the Mac Brown connection, and I'm just like, Mac Brown, wait, that Mac Brown? The North Carolina Mac Brown. To me, it's funny to see that he's kind of made it full circle now back to Texas.
Unreal. It really is. And also seeing a few other staffs getting secure. I believe I saw Rich Rod. I saw Rich Rod grab Larry Porter, and he was recently the running backs coach at Auburn. So he is going up to Morgantown there under Rich Rod's. There is a lot of coaching moves taking place right now, and just interesting some of the names that are landing in certain places now that Auburn has kind of set their staffs as well with Coach Golish there for the Auburn Tigers. Anyway, but yes, Will Muschamp back in the land of Hook them. Let's go ahead. Oh, I just got a text message from Reese Davis. Yeah. And no, I'm not going to do it.
Maybe some other time, Reese.
Yeah. You know what? I am filling in for Jordy Armin tomorrow morning, so maybe we can pull that off. But I know we're talking with both the men's and women's coach from UAH, and I always hear a little UAH update during the Blitz as well.
Yeah.
With yourself and their Joe Hunk.
Yeah.
As if there was some kind of connection there.
Who knows? Maybe you could throw Reese our way, and maybe you could stay by, and we could have a conversation with him then. Just an idea. Just an idea.
Okay. I will text Reese and let you know. How about that?
Sounds like a plan.
Let's take our final time out. If you missed the conversation that Wes and Drew had with Corey Reamer, I thought it was a really good conversation. He does sidelines for the Crimson Tide Sports Network. That'll be on the other side. Then it'll be UH Charger basketball front and center right for you here all the way. By the way, I'm trying to say too much at the same time. Thursday night football, that coverage has started over on Talk Radio, WZZN. That is our HD.2 channel, and it's a big one tonight. A big matchup between two 11-3 teams, the Rams and the Seahawks. We will join that game in progress as soon as we're done with Charger basketball. All right, now I'm ready for the final break. Corey Reamer on the other side. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at the service department at Woody Anderson Ford. When you need service on your vehicle, whether it's a Ford or any other make, you want to get into Woody Anderson Ford where their expert service technicians will get it diagnosed and repaired right away, the right way. And while you are there, check out all the new and pre-owned vehicles at Woody Anderson as well. They are ready to make you the best deal possible. Visit Woody Anderson Ford today.
Woody Anderson Ford on Jordan Lane in Huntsville, Hughes Road in Madison, and online at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. We're extremely proud that Baumhauer's Victory Grill has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where